Hello, welcome to Leading the Way at Leonard's, and I'm your host, Dwayne Knepper. Last week marked the end of tax season, a stressful time for many Americans. I think it was Ben Franklin was noted for saying, "But this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." But when finances are managed properly, it doesn't have to be a headache and it can lead to a better quality of life. Today, we'll be talking about taxes and financial wellness. As usual, riding shotgun with me is Leonard's Express CEO Ken Johnson.
Welcome back, Dwayne. It's great to be here.
Also joining us today are Greg Miller and Sam Irvine from Davie Kaplan, a Rochester, New York based accounting and financial services firm. Welcome, Greg and Sam.
Thanks, Dwayne. Great to be
Thanks
here.
for having us.
Excellent. Greg, could you tell us more about your work? What does Davie Kaplan do?
Sure. We primarily serve businesses and individuals that own them in the matter of tax planning, compliance, audit, and accounting services. And with our unique knowledge as CPAs, we also have a thriving financial advisory practice, which my colleague Sam here is part of.
Well, tax season isn't fun for anyone, except maybe for you accountants. Greg, how was tax season for you this year?
Yeah, well, it's fun in that it's a time of year where we get to engage with all of our clients. Sometimes some clients have more needs than others, but we're talking to them throughout the year. But in busy season, we're talking to everybody. So that part of it's fun. But there's no lie, it is a grind where we're putting in long hours. But a lot of the fun things again are seeing the planning come together. Oftentimes when you get to busy season, it's really too late to make a lot of changes. You're just reporting what happened and doing the best you can to get the best result. But if you plan properly during the year to maximize tax savings, whether it's retirement, putting money away for retirement, or taking advantage of the tax laws that are out there, really that's where you set the stages during the off season to have a successful busy season.
Sam, as a financial advisor, how do you help clients plan for tax time?
Well, it's a great question, Dwayne. I think the biggest way that we help is by working together with the CPAs of Davie Kaplan, both to coordinate alongside them, doing some of the things that Greg mentioned, but also just to communicate as well. Because as Greg mentioned, during a busy time of year, the last thing you want to be doing is not getting the information you need or being able to provide it to those that need it most, like Greg. But I think some of the other ways in which we help are really just reviewing what clients have done in prior years and helping them to look forward and start to plan for future years as well. That could be just as simple as retirement savings within retirement plans at work, or doing things outside of their employer-based plans as well. It can obviously get a little bit deeper than that sometimes too when we look into different tax smart saving strategies, but that can be very client specific. But yeah, I would say the most things that we do, most of what we do is really just focused on helping our clients to get through what can be a pretty complicated time of year.
Ken, I'm almost afraid to ask, but how was tax season for Leonard?
Probably as afraid as Greg is to hear my answer.
I was a little worried when I saw that one.
Yeah, I figured I seen that and I thought, oh, Greg may not want. Seriously though, I have a longtime friend. He was a good friend of my dad's growing up, and every year about this time we'd be complaining, and he'd say, "Well, if you're writing a check for on paying taxes, it must mean you're making money." So I guess I guess that's the upside to it. Obviously we've been successful, and one of the things that comes along with that is paying taxes. Just Kevin, Kyle, and I think we inherited this from my father. We would much rather see the money go to reinvesting and growing Leonard's and our other companies. So, but it's a balance. I mean, there's a purpose for the taxes. Don't always agree how they're spent by the government, but that's another podcast altogether that we'll leave to another entity. But it's just in our business, it's a capital intensive business. We're always looking for opportunities to grow. So we lose a little bit when we have to write a check to the government. But all in all, it's a good thing if I'll go back again. If you're making money, you're going to pay taxes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Kenya. We've had some clients, and I'm sure Sam has been involved with some families that aren't doing well. and they're not happy either. So it's a tough balance. If you're being successful in paying taxes, that means you're doing some good things. With your business, some of my comments today will be a little bit about the pandemic too, and it was a struggle for a lot of people in trying to just make sure that their businesses were going to survive that. So it's not fun not paying taxes either.
Right. No doubt.
Greg, what were some of the most common issues businesses and individuals face this year with their taxes?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think it was kind of a return to normal. I mentioned the pandemic a second ago. The last few years have been so focused on PPP loans, ERC, and all the other incentives that the government was out there trying to keep the economy going. And most of that was, not part of this busy season at all. So it was, a return to the tried and true, just trying to help each client make sure that they can take advantage of all the available tax programs out there to help them reduce their tax burden and have more money left in the business, like Ken said, to invest in it and to grow and hire more people and buy more equipment. So that's really, the goal is to help clients achieve that. Some of the ways we did that were, a little bit unique since the prior years was there's some programs like the pass-through entity tax. Not to get too deep in the weeds, but there's a federal program that limits the amount of state taxes you can deduct on your personal return for flow-through businesses like Ken's, where the business income flows through the owner's returns. By electing into what's called the pass-through entity tax program, the entity can pay in tax and thereby deduct it before it hits the individual's return. So that's been successful for many clients, and it's nice bringing those opportunities to clients and helping them, achieve tax savings.
Yeah, excellent. Ken, I understand your brother Kyle, who is co-owner of Leonard's Express and our chief financial officer, is hosting a series of financial wellness seminars for employees. What inspired him to do this, and what is the end goal?
Well, I think probably what first brought it up was the current economic environment. Inflation. The cost of everything's costing more. He thought that would be a good idea to just bring some basics to our employees, those that want to take advantage of it. Talk about basic budgeting and things like that. But also, I think he really wanted to point out, there's a lot of benefits available to our employees here at Leonard's that may provide extra income, in the form of a match in the 401k. There's other opportunities, making sure that they taking full advantage of the benefits, especially the financial ones. Some advice on how to lower your interest rates on your homes by improving your credit scores, and and how the whole credit score system works. So that everybody doesn't have the luxury of a college finance or accounting degree, but but they can still learn ways to help themselves by taking advantage of knowledge, as well as some programs that are available to everyone. And I think we're only 2 sessions in so far, but I think it's been very well received, and it's certainly worth everybody's time. If you missed the first 2, you can certainly jump on for the rest of them. I believe there's another 7 or 8 left to go, so there's still plenty to learn, and plenty of time to sign up for them. And it's a Teams meeting, so it's virtual. If regardless of where you are in the country, you can sign on and listen to them, and I certainly think it'll be worth your time.
Excellent. Sam, well, actually, this is a question for both Sam and Greg, but I'll let Sam go first. A lot of trucking companies are owner operators running their own small businesses. Do you have any financial tips for owner operators?
Absolutely. First, though, I want to just applaud Leonard's Express for that financial wellness program. In my field, I get the opportunity to work with individual clients, but alongside Greg and the other partners at Davie Kaplan, I work alongside a lot of small businesses. And in that scope, I work with them on the retirement plans that they offer to their employees. And a big thing that we emphasize is encouraging employees to participate, but also educating them on those plans and the benefits they have available to them. And it's extremely common that employers do not offer those types of programs. It gets thrown at the employees in a big book of fine print, and employees are kind of left to their own devices to understanding what they have available to them. So kudos to Ken and your brothers and Leonard's Express for offering that. Answering your question, Dwayne, I would say that from our end, our approach is really the same, whether you're owner operator or an individual, is just understanding what your assets are and what your liabilities are and what your cash flow is. There's a careful balance in almost any decision that's being made. Understanding what resources you have available to you, whether those are capital intensive or some other means, is really important. And just in knowing what options you have, because there's always a couple different ways to skin a cat, if you will.
Yeah, I can add on. Certainly, knowing owner operators and how capital intensive that field is, much like the trucking business as a whole, it's really key to plan that out properly, be aware of your interest rates and what things you're going to be facing as far as the carrying costs of that equipment. It's vital to your business, but to do it in a smart way is really important as well.
So. Yeah, it's we've had owner operators for a long time, and and they're great to work for. It's great to see the entrepreneurial spirit. People taking a chance on building what a business for their that they help will reach their goals. But a lot of them struggle. I used to have a fella here, and we'd have a weekly counseling session every Friday afternoon, and he was one of our highest earning owner operators, and it was always the same conversation. You don't have an earning problem, you have a spending problem.
Right.
And understanding that you have to have a budget, and and it's really tough. I mean, it's tough on a company the size of Leonard's. Last year and a half up till about the fall of 2022, it was a very good market for our industry. Right. And a lot of new companies came into it, and it swung the opposite way, and none of our costs have gone down. So if you're an individual trying to manage that, it's even tougher, because we've been around for 22 years, so we've seen the cycles go up and down, and we understand that whatever's good is not going to last, and whatever's bad's not going to last. It's just the economic nature of our industry. So teaching that to an individual that may be just a year or so into becoming an independent contractor, it's difficult for them to understand, if they haven't been through it before. So preparing them for that is, we feel it's our obligation. If we're giving them their first chance, we need to tell them the entire story so that they're prepared, and set something aside for the tough times, when times are good.
Yep, and I'd say definitely, great advice would be to make sure they work with a professional they trust. Absolutely. And knows them and can help them through that, because as an owner operator, they know the trucking industry, but all of the tax and financial aspects that come along with owning a business. It's not to toot our own horns, but it's vital to have somebody you trust that can help you through that, because that's not your first knowledge base. So it can really help the difference between making somebody successful or not.
Well, there's an interesting television commercial on now, and it's about a kombucha. Someone was making kombucha, and they went into business for themselves, and they said, I think the commercial goes, I certainly thought there'd be a whole lot more making kombucha and a whole lot less business. And, right. And that's the same thing with the independent contractors. Yeah. They're working the same hours as our drivers driving company trucks do. But when they go home, they now have to do the book work that goes along with it, the administrative work. And, that adds a whole other layer of complexity. And, that's a lot of fun, where there's a black positive number at the bottom of the ledger when you're done, but it's a little bit stressing when that turns red, and you have to try to figure out how to make it up. So, so having good advisors is very important, both from a business perspective, but also the financial perspective.
Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely. We do love to talk about awards on leading the way at Leonard's. And celebrate companies that are doing great things in their field. Greg, your firm, Davie Kaplan, has been named a top place to work in Rochester by the Democrat and Chronicle newspaper 6 years in a row.
Right.
It must be amazing to be recognized year after year for this award. What is the culture like at Davie Kaplan?
Well, thanks, Dwayne. We appreciate that. It's the thing we're most proud of is that it's employee based. So employees go on and rate us in various categories, and we've been fortunate enough to place at the top of local rankings. Not the top, but in a good place. But we're very proud of that, and the culture we strive to put together is one where we listen to employees and try to make it a fun place to work. Even as stressful as tax season can be, this year we instituted a team challenge where we divided everybody up in the firm into 9 teams, and each week we had various challenges. It gave everybody a nice break from the day, and it also brought people together and camaraderie. Some were trivia, some were physical challenges, but everybody had a really great time with it, and it was a lot of fun. So just trying to do things like that really make it more than just getting the work done has helped us, have our employees enjoy working here.
Absolutely. Well, do either one of you guys want to add to the experience there at Davie Kaplan as well?
Well, I'll just echo a lot of what Greg had to say. It is really very much employee centric, and I've been here now almost 10 years. So I think the myself, as well as many of my peers, being here for as long as they've been, really is a testament to the fact that this is a great place to work. I remember when I first started working here, we had an offsite meeting, and I remember our current CEO, Jennifer Jones, asked me if she asked the group at the event if everybody would consider Davie Kaplan family. And as a young, immature, just out of college type graduate, I said, no, work isn't my family. I don't want this to be my family. And she kind of looked at me with these eyes that said, wrong answer. But, I didn't really understand, I guess, the context of the question. Over time, I've evolved into kind of becoming a bigger part of this place and this culture. And I think the fact that Davie Kaplan does such a good job of putting the employees first, but also the employees' families, and offers such great flexibility, understanding, balance when needed. I know, without going into personal stories, I've had multiple moments over the last almost 10 years where I've just needed someone to reach out and really offer some help when needed, and it's been there. So it's nice to be working at an organization that has your back, and to be able to offer that to others that work on our teams as well.
We've won some similar awards and industry specific, and I think the companies that win these types of awards demonstrate that happy employees take care of their customers. Mm-hmm. And you can certainly see that with Davie Kaplan, and I hope that the people that our customers interact with Leonard see the same thing. And that's why we put the time into participating in the programs and learning from the responses we get. Right. A lot of ours have surveys attached, and the surveys come back to us. So we get the opportunity to review them and maybe make a few changes to make things just a little bit better. And it seems every year it gets a little tougher to win these things. More people are interested in participating, and and they do the same thing we do in taking the feedback and looking for opportunities for improvement. You can always do better, and that's the way we approach it. And I assume it's similar with Davie Kaplan. And so congratulations on winning that so many years in a row.
Very nice, Ken. Thanks. Yeah, the surveys are a big part of it. Like, even just finishing busy season, where we'll have a debriefing session now where we'll talk about what went good during busy season, what went bad. And we'll spend, the summer and the off season just trying to tweak those things that, we can do better for next year. So that employee feedback is critical in that process.
I hope that's done in a bar after 4 months of tax season.
Good idea. Well, that's a list of suggestions.
Yeah. With the current turmoil in the financial markets, where are you advising your clients to put their money? For example, making savings, investments, etc.
I tell them all to become owner-operators at Leonard's Express.
I thought you'd forget the shovel with a mason jar.
Without trying to be too vague and offer a cliche response, a lot of it does come down to just personal needs and planning objectives, right? So, and on top of that too, a lot of it's investment philosophy, right? So we've got younger clients and older clients alike that have retirement in their focus, but others that are sitting there saying, I just have to save for college or try to pay off some of the debt that I've acquired out of my new house, whatever it may be, right? So it's all going to vary. But for clients that are more risk averse, one of the silver linings to what we've seen the markets do over the last couple of years is that we've kind of seen a reshuffle to the point where it's more of a normal market operating condition, right? So what do I mean by that? A couple of years ago, it was I can either hold cash under the mattress or in the mason jar, or I can go buy Facebook and Microsoft and Netflix and all those FANG stocks. It was either really high risk or no risk at all. But now we're getting back to a position where, for those that are more conservative, they can go to the bank and get a real interest rate on their savings. Those are saving for retirement and have a longer timeline until they get there. They can take a little more risk and they can be rewarded with a diversified portfolio. So the good thing is there's lots of options out there. For some clients that means cash. That means just having some extra savings set aside so they feel comfortable and can sleep at night. For other clients, there's good buying opportunities that are still present out there.
It was interesting. I was on the watching the television this morning, and you can you go to the homepage of my bank, on their sign into their portal, or and you're seeing 4.5% CDs, which a year ago you're lucky to get. Yeah. But at the same time, I was surprised to see, and I know last year was a down year, but I think the stat this morning that surprised me the most was that the S&P is up 7% this year. And I think that's not so much because of what the numbers are, but because of the sentiment you hear on all the business channels of what's going on, and everybody's talking doom and gloom, and so you're right. It is a balance, Sam, and it's personal preference and personal risk tolerance. And, we see that talking with our employees, when, what to do with their 401k, and our best advice is to find someone like Sam, to help them with that, because, that's important. It's a great opportunity to save for retirement, but, not everybody has the, comfort level to do that on their own. So, it's certainly smart to seek out some financial advice, on which way to go to, and what matches your risk tolerance. So,
yeah, I definitely appreciate that, Ken. It is a lot of people ask me why I love what I do, and while I was not given the gift of being a teacher, I don't think God gave me that skill set, and there's good reasons for that. I do love to educate my clients, right? So that's something that I think gets lost in a lot of professional spaces, and going back to working with clients and having the opportunity to look at even just basic planning, like going to a financial wellness seminar and being told, hey, you should be putting in money every paycheck as opposed to thinking about it once a year. That could be a really big value add. And again, we got lots of data and charts to back up the ideas, but you look at the value of small savings over time, and it's amazing what it really does grow to.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I tell a lot of our newer employees, especially the younger ones, it's a lot easier to put 1% away for the next 30 years and find you're 10 years away from retirement and go into panic mode and have to figure out how to make 5, 10, or 15% work. So,
right.
The value of compounding.
Yeah, the younger stages, if you start to put it away, you're not going to miss it if you keep doing it. But if you get working and get used to that cash flow and all of a sudden need to start saving, it can hurt more. So definitely slow and steady is the way to go.
And to stick with the theme here this today, pre-tax dollars. So you save a little bit on your income tax by doing so.
Absolutely. Hey guys, I wanted to add this disclosure here. You know how sometimes you get that disclosure at the end and you got to say it pretty quickly. I'm going to try to make some sense out of it. But anyways, the disclosure reads, securities offered through Advantix Investment Services, member FINRA, SIPC, investment advisory services offered through Advantix Advisory Services, and insurance offered through Advantix affiliated insurance agency. Greg and Sam, thanks for joining us today. Your advice on taxes and financial wellness has been incredibly valuable. We appreciate you taking the time with us.
Thank you for having us. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks so much. Hope to be able to do it again.
Great. And having the disclosure read on our podcast, Dwayne, that means we're moving up in the world.
Absolutely. Well, that's a wrap for this edition of Leading the Way at Leonard's. If you have any questions or feedbacks, we'd love to hear from you at leadingtheway@leonardsexpress.com. That's leading the way, all one word. And please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Knepper. And until next time, keep on trucking.
We're running 18